Blackstone Publishing and Urban Audiobooks present Crossroads by Nikita Lynnette Nichols. This book is read by Katherine Dollison. Prologue. The doors of the church are open, Apostle Donald Lawrence Alford announced. He stood in the pulpit behind the podium and spoke to the congregation at Progressive Life-Giving Word Cathedral in Hillside, Illinois. Amaryllis Price and her best friend, Bridgette Nelson, stood up from the pew and walked to the front of the church. They joined others at the altar who were eager to give their souls to the Lord or join the church. It had been 7 days since Amaryllis's return from visiting her sister Michelle in Las Vegas. And it had been 7 days since Amaryllis had left the hospital, caught a taxi to Michelle's church, and threw herself at her sister's feet, begging for forgiveness. Amaryllis was keeping her promise to Michelle that she'd join a church when she returned home to Chicago. As the two friends stood to confess their love and devotion to God, Amaryllis reflected back to what had brought her to this point in her life. She had been trained by her mother, Veronica, to be a product of her environment. During Amaryllis's teenage years, the back door to the home she had grown up in on the south side of Chicago was never locked. In fact, Amaryllis remembered it as a revolving door that constantly moved back and forth. As a drug addict left with his next fix he'd bought from Veronica, a pimp entered to collect what was due to him, a peek at Amaryllis's body. At the impressionable age of 13, Amaryllis had been sold into a life of drugs and sex. She had been taught how to walk into the back room off the kitchen and strip for various men. Veronica had convinced Amaryllis that she was safe because the men weren't allowed to touch her. She was only there for their viewing pleasure. All Amaryllis had to do was turn around, bend over, or spread her legs when the men told her to. She was forced to watch men satisfy themselves in her presence. Because of Amaryllis's obedience, she had become the envy of every teenage girl in her school. Veronica had made sure to splurge where her daughter was concerned. A genuine Gucci bag, Fendi bag, Prada bag, or Louis Vuitton backpack was Amaryllis's reward for helping Veronica keep food on their table. "See, baby, Mama didn't forget you," is what Amaryllis remembered Veronica saying when she came home, often with gifts. "My heart is beating overtime, Amaryllis," Bridgette said as she snapped Amaryllis out of her thoughts. "I mean, what do we say when Apostle Alfred gets to us?" As he got closer to where she and Bridgette stood, Amaryllis saw the apostle shaking the hands of everyone standing at the altar. "I don't know, but I remember Michelle mentioning something about receiving the right hand of fellowship." Amaryllis looked to her left and saw the organist smiling at her. She returned the smile.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?